you want to have a 7/8 inch border from the left and the right. Okay, 7/8, and then 5/8 from the top down and the bottom up. So 7/8, and then from here down 5/8. You don't have to write that on your paper. I'm just putting it there so you can see. So I'm going to measure out at the top and the bottom 7/8 inch, which is 1/8 shy of an inch at the top and bottom of the paper so that I get a straight line. Okay, and then I can draw my straight line. I'm using an HB pencil. And I'll do the same thing on the right side of the paper. It's better to use one of these kinds of plastic erasers because the measurements, obviously it's see-through and you can see the measurements really well. And then I'm just going to turn the paper so it's easier. 5/8 is 1/8 more than a half. This ruler has, because it's see-through and I can see where the 5/8 is at, I don't have to measure, I can just draw the line. Okay. So there's my correct outer frame drawing space for my thumbnails. Now the thumbnails are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 in dimension. So 2 1/4 wide by 2 1/4 high. Okay, with a 1/4 inch in space in between. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and measure out from the left 2 1/4. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a 1/4 inch. I'm going to do this all the way down. 2 1/4, 1/4 inch. 2 1/4, 1/4 inch. 2 1/4, 1/4 inch. And I should have 2 1/4 left over. Yep. Okay. Do the same thing at the bottom. So now I can draw my vertical lines, but I'm not going to draw heavy. I'm just going to put a light line because I want them to be erasable. You don't need to press hard. Okay. And then I'm going to turn the paper and I'll do the same thing in the vertical orientation. So 2 1/4, so I made a mistake already. 2 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, and I should have 2 1/4 left over. Not quite, right? So, okay, so this last square is not 2 1/4, right? It's because the paper isn't exact. Yeah, it's because the paper isn't exact, but that's okay. So make sure that you're measuring from the same side over, so you get the same measurements at the top. Okay, so you have to measure from the left to the right all the time. Don't measure from the left to the right and then come and measure from the right to the left, because then it'll be off. Okay, so now I can do my guidelines going the other way. Okay, so the only way to make sure that your squares are always even is to measure from the center out. If you're measuring from the edge over, right, and from the edge over, because paper, these pads are not exactly 11 by 14, right? They're a little off here and there. They're a little less. They tend to run a little less. You're going to have issues when you're doing specific measurements. Okay. The only way to not have issues is to measure from the center out. Okay. So once you have this step, You want to go back in with the eraser and get rid of the excess marks. So I'm just going to get rid of the parts of the thumbnail frames that are not, that are in between. Okay, so there's my thumbnail template.